Hey everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and another episode of Cash or Trash. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. I see there's a bunch of people hanging out in the chat, which is awesome. Thank you so much. I will ask anyone, I've done some reorganization on my desk that you guys can't see. Just want to make sure you can hear me good because I moved my speaker a little bit, not much, but a little bit. So I want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me. So if anybody's having any issues with sound, let me know and I might have to move that again. So let's see who is hanging out in this chat and then we will get ready for this show. We had the Unruly Simeon, who I know is still here and was hanging out early tailgating. Luis Ramirez was also tailgating. As was GT Key Comic. What is going on? John's Comics with Kids is completely obsessed with Fables at the moment. He's like 9 volumes ahead of where we're reading on the Indie Show, but hey, that's good. So we'll be doing that a week from this Thursday. We'll be doing our next Indie Show with Fables. We got some stuff in between there. We got Comic Books NYC. He's excited about Mech Cadet, which is going to be the first book I actually talk about. What's going on, Kavi? Let's see. Sam I Am. What's happening, Sam? I have no idea what's going on. There's some grammar discussions going on in this chat. X11 Bravo. What is happening? There's Unruly back. Ooh, Chad just jumped on me. Perry Comics, what is going on? He is lurking. Louis, what is happening? John says I sound good. Okay, good. I just want to make sure it's a little further away than it was. So I want to make sure that the sound was still coming through. Dreadnoks, what is going on? What do we got here? We got Dennis hanging out. Thank you, Dennis. Comics are great is in the house. What is going on? And I think I might be caught up. So thank you all for hanging out with me on a Sunday afternoon so JP can make fun of the hot books of the week. For those that don't know or are new to this show, this is where I look at the hot comics from this week. The CBSI Hot Top 10, the Comic Tom Key Collector Hottest Trending Comics of the Week. And I give predictions sure to go wrong on what I think is going to happen with these books. Evo is in the house. What is going on? John, welcome. So, so I give my predictions. I give my thoughts. I'll be right. I'll be wrong. You know, that's how these things go. So, Rag, what is happening? So, for anybody who is new, we'll do a real quick recap of how I will classify these books. We're going to have books I think are going to go up and keep climbing in value are going to be my straight cash homie books. Books I think that are probably maybe increase a little bit, but mostly are just worth what they're going for. I'm going to put down as worth it. I'll be back, or books I think they're going to probably take a little bit of a step back or stay around the same. That you got plenty of time to grab them at this price or similar or slightly less. There it is. I don't know why I clicked on it off. It's a trap. Books that I think are definitely going to decrease quite a bit in price, up to 50% is usually what I think for It's a Trap. And then ones that I just think are what are we doing? Why are we paying this for those books? Or my Come On Mans, and occasionally we'll have a dumpster fire in there. So let's see. Anybody? Dre is in the house. What is going on? So yeah. So it looks like we got a pretty good crowd here today. Oh, I forgot to click off the dumpster fire. It's probably more attractive than I am. So there you go. So first up, let's get into this list. We got 19 books this week, so we got a lot of things to talk about. Mech Cadet U. Basically, this was announced. I believe this is Greg Pak. This was announced as it had been optioned, and now it's coming, or has been optioned, coming to Netflix as an animated movie, I believe, not a series, an animated movie. Here's the thing. They announced when it's scheduled for. It's coming in 2023. So, yeah, it jumped up to a $30 to $40 book, but we got 2+ years before we're going to see this. 6 months, a year from now, this book is not going to have a lot of buzz. Everyone's going to have forgotten about it. So no, I would not pay $30 or $40 for this right now. Even if it ultimately becomes a great movie, I think this is a trap right now. You got 2 years for this sucker. You got all kinds of time. People are going to forget all about this. Hey, man, Manic 23, what is going on? Oh, yeah. People are just catching up in the chat. So, yeah, I think this one is definitely a trap just because of the timing. Because you're a couple years out. That's why I would not be paying $30, $40. I'd wait a few months, and I would guess you could get it for 20, 15 without any trouble. So, not that it's not good, not that it won't be good, but yeah, just the timeline on this one. Be covered next month. Well, that might be a little extreme, but yeah, it's definitely, I think, going to drop down. Next, we have Hugh Howey's Wool. Supposedly, there's a show of this coming to Apple TV. No timeline on this one. Does Apple TV really move the needle? This jumped up to a $20 to $30 book. I'd never even heard of this book before. Yeah, I think this one's also a trap. At $20 to $30. I could be wrong. I just don't see Apple TV as being a big enough service at this stage. I have Apple TV because it's free when I bought my computer. Like, I got a free year of Apple TV. Other than Ted Lasso, is there anything on Apple TV that people watch? I don't think so. So yeah, I'm going to say this does not move the needle for me on this. So we're putting this in the trap category as well. Next, more TV movie option news. We got G.I. Joe number 21, the silent issue. Obviously, we had the trailer drop for Snake Eyes this week. This is the first appearance of Storm Shadow, but also just a huge, important Snake Eyes book. And yeah, we all know what this is. This book has jumped significantly in the last couple of years. It's been slowly climbing anyway. Raw copies are like averaging 300 plus. 9.8 went for 3,700 this week, which I remember when we were looking at a 9.8. Some people were looking at 9.8 as a-okay for Matt. It was well under 1,000. Yeah. Ted Lasso is amazing. Yes, if you've never watched that, that is worth the admission on Apple TV, honestly. Rag is saying, only 8,000 print run, but again, 2 years. That's why I think it's a trap currently. Not that it would be like if we were closer, but currently. For All Mankind on Apple TV is also Space Throne. Interesting. Okay. So maybe I should watch more. The only thing I've watched on my Apple TV is Ted Lasso. So maybe I should look for more on there. So maybe each Avengers character have their own Apple. I don't know about that, but anyway, okay. So you guys are slapping me down that I'm not watching enough good stuff on Apple TV is what you're telling me. Okay, that there's more there. Anyway, this is Stray Cash. I don't know that there's much to talk about. Trailer looked okay. I wasn't like super hyped by the trailer, but it looked solid. So we'll see. Hopefully, I have hopes for that. But that book's Stray Cash anyway. Next up, we got Masters of the Universe number 1. We know we have an animated show coming for this. It's got a really good cast. It's supposed to be picking up where the original animated show ended. So it's not like a reboot or anything. It's supposed to be like a direct sequel. Kevin Smith's attached to this. Raw copies for this are going for 65. A 9.8 hit 600 plus, 650 plus. The nostalgia for anything 80s right now is just so real that I think this is like the actual first appearance has gotten out of reach for a lot of people that DC Comics presents. I don't remember now which number that is. Gosh dang it. You guys will tell me in the chat. You guys will fix me in the chat on which number that is. But so yeah, now this one's jumping because of it. Because the other one's gotten so high. I don't know if the show will be good or not, but the nostalgia, I think, carries this one higher than what it currently is. I'll be surprised if a 9.8 doesn't touch 1,000 soon, just because. enough to watch He-Man. I can get that, but I think the nostalgia is going to carry this one. I mean, think about what that Thundercats book's doing. Think about like what the actual first appearance is doing. Yeah, I think just nostalgia from old people like us and really who grew up in the 80s is a huge factor in this market right now. Think about Transformers is worth. Think about what G.I. Joe's worth. Yeah, I think this one continues to climb. Next, we got Ultraman #1. So this is the first appearance of Ultraman in American comics. Obviously, it's existed in Japan for a really long time. We got an animated show supposedly coming for this. It's only going for $10. So to me, I put this kind of in the worth it. If this show catches on, this was kind of a precursor to like Power Rangers and a bunch of other stuff. That like the guy in the mech suit fighting giant monsters, Power Rangers, Voltron, all of that. Like this was kind of a precursor to all of that. The fact that they're actually bringing it to America in an animated show at $10, like I said, it's probably worth it. There you go. Yeah. Because just crying. Ghost just cries and everything. He does. But yeah, at $10, it's like, I mean, even if odds are you're not going to lose anything on this. So I don't know what the timeline is on this. I didn't see it, but yeah, the fact that they're bringing it to America finally tells me that it'll be worth more than $10 down the road. All right, next we got Nemesis #1. This is another Millarverse rumor. Obviously, we had Jupiter's Legacy just dropped, so everything now people are suddenly thinking he might actually get stuff made, which has been a non-existent for Millar. Generally, everything gets out and almost nothing gets made. But it looks like Netflix is moving forward with some of these. So this one's jumped up to a $15 book, 9.8, going for 300, which I guess has to do with how because there's only like 8 or 10 of them actually that are 9.8s on the census. Because not that many people have done it. This is an I'll be back. I mean, it's $15, 9.8. It's the timeline on this is going to be a while. Not all of these Millar. I don't think Jupiter's Legacy. I don't know. We'll see. It is a really cool cover. Yeah, it is a really cool cover. This is basically like evil Batman. Like if Bruce Wayne had decided to be evil after what happened to his parents instead of help people. So I think it sounds like a really good comic. It might make a really good show. I think we got some time. To me, this is because of the time factor. I think this is I'll be back. Jan, and he likes Noir. Wow. Unruly didn't. Have you read Nemesis Unruly and you're saying Jan, or are you just saying Jan because it doesn't interest you? I'm curious. Next, we got Out of Body Experience, OBE #1. This is just a hot indie of the moment. Just released this week. Wasn't a lot of buzz about it necessarily. Not like super high print, but it's going for $25 to $30. Almost all of these indies for me always fall into the wrong button. Not that one. That one. Any kind of hot indie that comes out jumps up to $20, $30. Always becomes an I'll be back because it really depends on does the series have legs? Do people really enjoy it, or is it just kind of it's only a 1 of 4? There's no necessarily option news with it yet. But is it actually good? Maybe. I think he's still talking about Nemesis. Maybe it's good. And maybe it has legs, but most don't. Like if you watch this list, most of the ones when I do the 6-month thing, most of these indies that jump up initially don't have the legs to keep them going. Yeah. I mean, don't be wrong. There's always exceptions. Something's killing the children. Department of Truth. There's always exceptions, but it's gotta be really good, and people gotta love it. We'll see. I hadn't even heard of this one yet, before it was on the list. All right, next up, we got Red Room number 1, the Peach Momoko 1 in 25. This is another kind of hot indie of the moment with a weird, freaky kind of Peach Momoko cover. This 1 in 25 is up to $60 to $70 because it's a relatively low print indie. Again, now in this case, I'm going, it's a weird cover. I don't think the cover is actually that attractive. And I haven't, this is another series I haven't heard any of. And this didn't even have had less buzz than OBE. Like, the cover isn't going to pack it if the series is not good. And it's $60 to $70 for a 1 in 25. Yeah, no, I think this is definitely a trap. Sure, see what's going on in the chat. Hey, Firehawk, what's going on? Not for everyone. This book was too much for me. Okay, Dr. Lovebox actually read Red Room, so it's a weird book. I didn't really like it. See, that's what I like. The description was very like out there. I think this was the one where like basically you're watching, like you could pay-per-view to watch somebody murder somebody. It's like, yeah. All right. He's saying it did pretty well. I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that this cover is going to stick for this kind of crazy prices. So only because it's Momoko and horror. Yeah. I just don't think it's that great of a cover. But we'll see. Too gory from the descriptions. Yeah. Definitely didn't really interest me, but that doesn't mean it won't go for value. But yeah, I think this is a trap at 60 to 70. We'll see. Next. Whoa. Yeah. Did I have something I wrote? No. Okay. I was looking in the wrong place. X-Men 213. This is the first Sabretooth Wolverine fighting on the cover. This thing's going for $15 to $20 raw. 9.8 hit 400. And this is basically because Tales from the flip side discussed it as kind of a cool cover. They talked about the covers had their own kind of spec because people like to display the covers. Marauders X-Men. Well, there is X-Men here. So, to me, this isn't I'll be back, though. This is kind of a momentary blip because it was talked about on like a spec show. Maybe everything X-Men and Marvel keeps going up, but I feel like this isn't I'll be back. I think the hype of the moment, it's not a super limited, hard to find book. I think there's better Wolverine. I realize this is the first one where they're fighting, but there's better Wolverine Sabretooth covers, in my opinion. I don't know. That's where I'm at on this. Let's see what everybody's saying. No, this is the first time they're on the cover fighting. It's the way they described it, Rag. Now, I could be wrong. This is what I'm just going off of what was this a Tom book? This was a Tom book. This is what Tom said in his video. Now, that this was the first time they fight on the cover. Not the first fight, first time they fight on the cover. And they're talking about it purely from a cover standpoint. Yeah, it is part of Mutant Massacre. 211 is the first Marauders, big part of the storyline. Yeah. Remember what they were doing with Iron Fist? Yeah. Well, they're not even talking about it from a story standpoint. This was all about this cover, and which is why I think it's that's why to me I think it's an I'll be back. It's not that it's not a great read, it's anything else, but just from the perspective of why they're talking about it. There you go. Later, but chronologically took place earlier. There you go. It is an awesome cover. Yeah. There you go. All right. Next up. Where am I at? That's a good question. Where am I at? This is weird. I don't like it when they do this, but they do this. This is what they did. This is issue 30, which is the last issue of the run. Basically, they put Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 10, numbers 21 through 30 on the list. I guess all of these are fairly short prints. People are going back and getting these for some reason. like 21 is going for 10 plus, 10 to 15. 30 is going for 35 plus. I think it all has to do with them being limited. This is the cover for 30. Being super short prints on these. But I don't know why season 10 is particularly interesting as opposed to any of the other seasons they did. What did I actually put on this? I just put I'll be back. I would look for these. I think you could find these in back issue bins easily. I don't think there's been a ton of interest in this Buffy series. There's not like a new Buffy thing coming. So yeah, to me, this is an I'll be back. I get it. This is the end of a run, but there was a season 11, there was a season 12, and now there's the current Boom Studios run. So yeah, it's not like it was the end of Buffy. So that's just my thought on this. To me, this is an I'll be back. Next, we got Joker #2. The second print, 1 in 25. First appearance of Vengeance with her on the cover, which is Bane's daughter. This one is going for 60 to 70 out the gate for the second print. A little torn on where I think this one's going to be. I think the character potentially has some potential. Hey, Mars, what's going on? It'd be nice. No. They are, the ones I've read are solid. I don't know that I made it all the way through season 10, though. I can't remember. I know I did season 8 and 9. I don't know how far I actually made it on those, unruly. No. Hey, JoJo, what's going on? So, how's it a second print? Because all the companies are doing this now, Dennis. Like, they will do a second print, and then they will do an incentive on the second print. They have been doing this for a while. Marvel does this all the dang time. DC has started doing it as well. So yeah, which just makes ridiculous. So there's probably not a ton of these. This version in color, the same cover is the 1 in 50 on the first print. To me, that's probably the one you want, even though probably given second print versus first print numbers, this is maybe actually slightly rare. It's probably pretty close. It's going for 60 to 70. I went back and forth on this one, but I know there's not a ton of really good buzz about this Joker storyline. I've heard that it's been kind of so to me, this is an I'll be back. Oh, I still got Sam's comment up there. And it's really, like I said, it really has to do with how quickly they use her, how much they use her will really determine what happens with this. I think this is a long-term play that's probably worth more than this. But for now, I would try to be patient and I would try to snag the first print cover if you can find it. I don't know what it's going for at the moment. But I would be patient on these. The 1 in 50 first print is going for like 2. There you go. So maybe not. So maybe this is why this one's going to be higher. So maybe I need to already reevaluate this. He likes the black and white. Yeah. Like I said, my initial thought was I'll be back. Maybe I should be saying this. I feel like that's a lot. I don't know that the character, they're going to have to use her. I'm going to stick with I'll be back. But yeah, I could be wrong on this. I could be underselling that one. Next up. See, there you go. Manny, at $60, $70, you probably ought to go get them. Like, just saying. And welcome. I don't think I called you out yet. What do we got next? ASM 258. Okay, so I didn't know this book, what this book was. So this is the issue where he goes to the Fantastic Four and Reed discovers that the alien suit is alive, that it's a symbiote. This is also the first appearance of Bagman. This is the one where he puts on the paper bag and the FF suit to go out while Reed is examining the costume. Yeah, they're talking about the punchline story, the Joker story. I'm stunned this hasn't been more. Everything symbiotes are crazy. hit the list this week because it's up to $15 for raw copies. A 9.8 went for $195. Like, not that I necessarily think it should be worth more. I'm stunned it's not. Like, given the fact that we go after 252 and we go after 300, like everything symbiotes. Like, we just spend crazy freaking money on. We spend money on all three of those first appearance of the Black Suits, plus Secret Wars 8, which is the origin. The fact that this book has never been hot sort of stuns me. And, like, I just... Not that I necessarily think it's a huge key, but the fact that it's any sort of Black Suit key seems like they're all worth more than this. So my guess is the fact that this is getting out there, that people are talking about it, means that this is what we're looking at. That this book, it may not go like crazy high, but like that $15 for a raw copy and $200 for a 9.8 is probably the low end of what we'll see on this book going forward, because people are obsessed with Venom and the Black and the symbiotes. And the fact that this book is now getting some attention and some buzz, my guess is it carries it to new heights going forward. First Amazing Bagman. Not to mention, it has the First Amazing Bagman. There you go. Probably. Yeah. Well, now people are going to know about it because they put it on the list. They talked about it. Yeah, John is correct. Everything Symbiotes and Mutants is super hot. So, and hey, Planet, I don't know if I said hello to you yet. All right, next up, some bad spec in my opinion. The next two books. This is Ghost Rider number 28, first appearance of the Midnight Suns as a team. Here's the thing. Basically, there was some podcast or something that put out there that, they're coming. Midnight Suns are going to be coming to the MCU in some form. Well, as Tom talked about, that they were supposed to be coming as part of the Hulu stuff, like from the Hellstrom show. Then they were going to do their little horror corner of the MCU on Hulu. That's where this was supposed to be headed, and that all got canceled when Hellstrom bombed. So far, there's no rumors about any of these characters that are solid, other than the Blade, and we still don't have a timeline on when Blade's coming. To me, this is kind of silly. This is a reach. Hey, Fritzies, what's going on? To me, this is a reach for sure. It's going for $30 for a raw copy. A 9.8 hit $350 because there's these rumors that, this one podcast that's fairly popular talked about this. To me, it's a best these are all be backs. And I kind of think it's a trap. I think we're ways from seeing any kind of like this horror corner of the MCU coming. Nobody liked it. Nobody saw it. That's the whole point. It was bad. Nobody watched it. Let's just put it that way. Because I didn't watch it. I can't say it was bad, but like all the reports were that it was bad. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is all of that got canned. So that's why I don't think this is great spec, because this was supposed to be part of that. And this next book is the same thing. This is the first appearance of Blackout, this is Ghost Rider number 2, who is a member of the Midnight Suns and somebody that they were talking about as a character that would be coming. I guess he was actually in the first Ghost Rider movie with Nick Cage. He appeared. I think John's hitting the exact point on both of these books. This one's only going for 10, 9.8 for 150 as opposed to that 350 for the Midnight Suns thing. But for 9.8, which is just crazy high. That's why I think the first book is a trap. This one, at its values, is probably just an I'll be back. But yeah. No interest here, at least from JP on these. Okay, I gotta scroll up. We got how many books left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy moly, we still got 5 books. I'm taking forever today. Next, we got Strange Tales. There you go. I have no idea how they determine sometimes what's first and what's not. Yeah. This is Strange Tales number 170, the second appearance of Brother Voodoo. Still rumors that he's going to make an appearance in Doctor Strange. His first appearance has gotten out of reach for a lot of people, so now second appearance is starting to jump. That's basically what you're looking at here. $200 now for raw copies of this thing. And I feel like this is a fairly decent spec option. And given how high the first appearance has gotten to, my guess is this is probably that this is going to continue to climb. Maybe not huge beyond where it is, at least until he appears, but I'd be very much surprised if this takes a step back at $200 for on average for raw copies. Second appearance, yeah, given what the first appearance goes for, I think you're going up. But it's real, man. I mean, the thing about the first appearance is going for big money nowadays, and I think everybody, I think he's for sure going to appear. He's not in Doctor Strange. He's supposed to be in the new one, the Multiverse of Madness. Like his brother or something appeared in Doctor Strange. Like something like that. Let's see. Okay, next. Secret Invasion, New Avengers, number 40, the second print. First appearance of the Skrull Queen. She's actually on the back of this wraparound cover. I didn't get the image for the full wraparound to use. Should have. I just didn't. And this is everything to do with Emilia Clarke being cast for Secret Invasion. Everybody thinks she's going to be the Skrull Queen, which seems like pretty obvious casting to me. This book is now this second print is now a $175 to $200 book raw. And we know Secret Invasion is coming. We know this character's coming for the time being. Remember, I'm talking about like the 6-month prediction. I'm not talking like 5 years. But over the next 6 months, I think we may or may not get official confirmation on who she's playing. But I think there's a decent chance we do. If you remember right, she is the Skrull Queen in this story disguises herself as Jessica Drew. So there's every chance she could be playing both. Like, I think there's every chance that she could end up being both characters. Just something to remember when you're thinking about this. They can put her in the Skrull makeup, make her look like a Skrull to be the Skrull Queen, and then when she's in human form, she's herself, who is actually Jessica Drew. I think that's probably a really good chance. That book has been moving, unfortunately, because I would like to get it. Not as much as this one has. Now that maybe they could have her play somebody else too. Like they don't have to have her be Spider-Woman, because I know Spider-Woman's rights are a little screwy with the whole Sony thing. I know they've gotten some discussions there. I don't know where that's at. That's not something that anybody knows for sure. But yes, that is the question of whether or not she could be Jessica Drew, is where the rights are between Sony and Disney on that. She's just going to be the villain, so the people care, Alex, and welcome. But to me, I think this one probably, at the very least, is probably worth it, and probably on the short term. Over the short term, and then once she appears or it becomes official, it probably jumps some more. Because this is a pretty hard to find book. The second print is pretty low. So that's just my thoughts there. Yeah, they can't change things. Doesn't mean that. I'm just saying that there's a possibility that obviously that she could be playing both characters. But again, they have to. I don't know where the rights stand on that. Next up, we got Thor number 5, first appearance of Lady Loki, and this is still spec that we're going to get a female version of Loki in the Loki show. This book is going for $50 to $60. I'm going to stand by. This is an I'll be back. Maybe we get this version of Loki. I kind of doubt it. I know there's been a lot of rumors that we're going to get other versions of Loki. I kind of doubt it. No, we're talking about, yeah, they think everybody Lopestress. This is what I think with this one. This is why I think I'll be back. I feel like this is just people speculating and not really based on anything. I think this is a Mephisto, a Omega Red kind of situation. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a female version of Loki at some point. So I don't know if he's in Sif's body or what. That's an actress and a character we haven't seen for a long time. I don't know if they'll ever bring her back. Next, we got X-Men 130, and this has to do with, this is doubled in price in just the last 2 months. 9.8s are now 2,500, and 9.6 is hitting 800. And this is basically spec that she might appear. Now I don't even remember which one they were saying that she was going to appear in. Hang on, let me look. I got this open still. The CBSI one, maybe. Whoa, maybe. So I'm like scrolling, trying to get back to that. It looks like. What are they saying? That she's supposed to appear in Ant-Man 3. This seems like a stretch to me. I don't see Dazzler as being one of the first X-Men they bring in. It's a great book. Dazzler. It's a great book. And I don't necessarily think that it's going to go down. I just think that the spec is probably premature on Dazzler. To me, this is probably long-term. We'll get to my branding. What did I put? I put I'll be back, which is not that I think it's going to drop significantly, but like I just don't think the spec. But then again, it's an X-Men key. And I think maybe I should change it just because it's an X-Men key right now to at least this. We'll go with worth it. So, because I don't know that any of these X-Men keys are going to come back at all. Yeah. See, they're saying straight cat. Everyone else seems to think I think it's a major stretch that she's appearing, but every X-Men book key is just, look at what the Kitty Pryde Emma Frost book is doing. That book is just a rocket ship. And a lot of them are right now. This one included is a Disco Biscuit. Yeah, that's probably right. You guys are probably right. You guys are forget the MCU rumors that it's straight cast because it's an X-Men first appearance. And that's probably where I should put it, and I will change that. Yeah, Disco Biscuit. There you go. And last book of the week. All grades are up 50 to 75% in the last 45 days is why they put this on the list. We know we've been getting images of Oscar Isaac. We know this show is coming. There's not really much to say about this. This book has been this for a long time. It's going to continue to be that unless the show is just awful. Unless Marvel just whiffs completely. This is, yeah. And I don't think they will. They have, how many times has Marvel truly like completely whiffed? Not very. I won't say their record's perfect, but they haven't whiffed big time very often. So that is all the books this week. Yeah, Stray Cat's always for Moon Knight. Yes, that was the casting. They were looking for a child. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad book. I need to change it to Street Cast. You guys are right. I was wrong on the 130. You're right. Yeah, that was the one they messed up the worst. That is absolutely the one they messed up the worst. All right, gang. I'm going to get out of here. This took 40 minutes today. It took me a little longer. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. There's 67 in the chat right now. You guys are amazing. Things I got coming up real quick. Tonight, whatever report. Then we're playing D&D over on Big Will's channel. Nothing tomorrow night. It's not a Comic week. But Tuesday night, we are talking. My indie show will be back. And I'm talking with Comics Will Break Your Heart, Fuchsia Only, and California Blend. We're talking Lady Killer Volumes 1 and 2. So got that coming up Tuesday. And then Thursday, I got another indie show, our rescheduled finally Usagi discussion with Louie, who's in the chat, Whitewell Comics, and Jimmy the Geek Aficionado. So got those coming up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out, and catch you next time.